What's going on, the Mosh Pit crew? How's it going? Welcome to Geeking Out with the Metal Geek. I'm your host, the Metal Geek, and I just want one question for y'all. Welcome to the Geek Pit. So let me give a warm Geeking Out welcome to our guest today. He's a good friend of Metal Geek. Let's give a warm Geeking Out welcome to the last great manager, Mr. Chad Epic.
We're live right now. We're good.
Yep, we're good. We're good.
Oh,
I
don't know. You said you had a question, then you stated a statement instead of a question. So
I was just that's how I do my intro. I say I have a question for you. Welcome to the Geek Pit. That's whole.
That's not a question though.
Yeah, it's a general statement. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Yeah. But how have you been? How have you been,
all
Chad?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, since the last time I talked to you, I think you guys went international. You had your book filled up every single weekend. You're welcome, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, we were booked, man. And I can't say nothing but good things about you, man. You know, you're probably still one of my favorite managers on the Indies today, to be honest with you. So,
got to get you out towards Massachusetts, New England way. I'm actually going to Jersey a lot and New York now, so you might see me out your way.
Yeah. So
that's the thing, you know, in professional wrestling, you want to get better, you want to get bigger, you got to get out of your comfort bubble.
Yeah, I gotta get out of the Long Island bubble. I'm still in that Long Island mid-state. You know,
it's no matter where you go in the United States or in the world. If you want a different card, you need to get out of your comfort bubble. Doesn't matter what promotion you're at, how big they are, how small. It's pretty much the same card everywhere you go, unless you're out of your area.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So before we get started, get Axel in the chat there. You know. So what have you been up to since the last time? You had a show.
When's the last time we worked?
The last time we had.
The last time we talked?
I think it might have been July. It had to be July, dude. The last time we talked.
Was it right before the show?
I think it was a long time ago. I talked on the text back and forth, or were you talking like actually had you on the show?
Oh, actually been on the show.
I think it was July on my birthday with Tamaku. That was the last time.
Oh yeah, I jumped in when Tamaku was here.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that was the last time we actually physically talked. And I had to say, what was the last time? Like, because I remember you were talking about that you had a show coming up.
Yeah, I had a show in Gloucester, Massachusetts, my hometown, for the Colonial Wrestling Alliance. We did okay, a little over 230, 240 people. Matt Cardona versus Frankie Kazarian, a New England original, was the main event.
And Matt Cardona is actually a Long Island original.
He is a Long Island original. He's now the king of the Indies.
Before he moved to Florida.
Yeah.
But that's how he gets the heel heat when he comes over to Long Island. He's like, yeah, Long Island, my home. Before I moved to Florida. I just saw him recently. He's absolutely great. So
the dude knows how to work a crowd.
Yeah, he does.
I don't care what anyone says. He put in the last few years, you know, since 2020, this decade, as bad as it's been, he put GCW on the map by going there and winning their championship.
Definitely. And what a great way to do that too. It's because you have this ex-WWE guy, right? And then you go into an actual death match, like you have against the deathmatch king, instant heel heat right there, right off the bat.
I mean, what he did, like no one expected him to go full-blown deathmatch. And he did. He proved a point. And then what he did when he won the championship was made it a spinner belt and put Velcro on it. That infuriated the GCW faithful, the internet wrestling community, and it was one of the best things I've seen.
That had to be one of the best things because, like I said, he's a former WWE guy, and everyone goes, well, he's not really a GCW champion. I'm like, oh no, yes, he is.
He's probably Nick Gage to win the championship. That makes him the GCW champion.
One of the best GCW champions.
He helped put that company into a bigger light than it had.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I've worked Nick Gage with Boy Marsh, like. Gage is the king of that shit. Are we allowed to swear still?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
all right, good. There's no question about it. Nick Gage is the king for a reason. All right. And Matt Cardona went into his house and pinned him 1, 2, 3.
Have you ever you worked Nick Gage, right?
I mean, I didn't get in the ring when working. My boy,
That's what I'm asking.
Marsh. I can say I'm probably one of the only managers in the United States that have bitch slapped Nick Gage, and I still have a pulse.
Man, you know.
I mean, I reached in the ring and just as hard as I could across the face. And I mean, we're not going to talk about what happened after that, but I might have ran away.
Man,
he's a scary dude.
He is a scary dude, you know. He's crazy too, right?
Hey, he literally died for this business, so
he did. So yeah. So what's your opinion on the angry wrestling vet? In your personal opinion on
the angry wrestling vet? He has a lot of good takes. He does make a lot of good points a lot of the time. His picture one is very outdated.
Mm-hmm.
The thing, no taking pictures with people and I said it on his post that because of that mentality and being told that mentality since day one, there is a bunch of opportunities of people that I worked with, I consider friends, that in the last few years have passed away, and I don't have pictures with them because it was considered inappropriate to take pictures in the locker room. I 100% that is asinine. You have friends, you see someone that you grew up watching, grab a picture with them. I mean, don't be rude and interrupt them while they're in the middle of a match or something, obviously. Be respectful about it. It's all about respect.
Yeah.
I mean, the angry wrestling vet, he's one of those guys who hasn't really evolved, I guess, with wrestling the way it has moved. This isn't the 1990s. This isn't in the early 2000s. All right, you can't go in the ring, and because this guy doesn't train at your school, your teacher tells you to beat the crap out of him. Like, that's just completely unprofessional. Unfortunately, it still goes on today. But like, I don't understand how it keeps happening, but it does, you know? And they're all like, we're better than you. I'm like, you're working the same VFW as me. We're in the same building.
Exactly. It's like if I was working with you, Chad, would you take a picture with me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want a picture of all my friends. My memory is shot. I got COVID about 1.5 years ago. I still don't have taste. My memory is just crap. Like, my short term is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can see, like, you know, I'm been walking with a cane for a little bit now, trying to realign my hips and my knee. That's completely, like, there's no cartilage in it, but who has time to get surgery?
Exactly. So, do you have any new clients right now, or?
Right now, actually, I got a show coming up. We're going to Canada this summer. I have a show coming up in a few weeks. It's for Supernova Wrestling. Mm-hmm. My newest client, he goes by the name Yusuf.
I've heard of it. He's a
big beast.
Sounds very familiar, this guy, you know?
See, the problem is everyone thought he was just a brainless monster, but he was obviously intelligent enough to contact me because I was there when he first started training. He's like, hey, give me a hand. And so people want to consider him a mindless beast, but he's smart enough to contact someone like me to help him out.
Mm-hmm. Have you watched WrestleMania, and what's your
overall
thought?
I always at the end of the day, I mean, you know, you call the mark or this or that. I'm like, the biggest marks in this business are the ones who got into the business. I mean, I loved wrestling so much, I friggin' got into the business. Yeah. I watch WrestleMania every year. I didn't go this year because I'm not traveling to California. That state's always on fire. I want nothing to do with that.
Oh, yeah, the forest fires. I know.
Yeah, there's a site, iscaliforniaonfire.com. It will say yes or no. I have not seen it ever say no.
There's a site?
There is a site.
Wow. And it tells you, right?
Yeah, it just says yes or no. It's californiaonfire.com.
And then it tells you about all the forest fires and everything.
No, just a yes or no.
Just a yes or no, right?
Best thing. You ask a question, get a yes or no answer. Best way to go.
This is like an actual site, right?
This is an actual website. I
gotta look this up now, man, because I if I ever want to travel to California, I want to look up, you know, see if there's a fire, you know, because
my former broadcast partner for House of Bricks Wrestling, the guy who sat next to me at the table, Joe Rebello's in here.
Yeah, Joe Rebello.
Joe Rebello. If you look him up and just put martial arts, you're gonna see his accomplishments. Now, in wrestling, people like to exaggerate, like tell stories. When I first met Joe years ago, I thought that about him. And then I start looking the dude up. And, well, everything he was saying is 100% true. The dude is a legit badass. And me trying to spar with him one time put me on my ass in like seconds.
Mm-hmm.
They're not shady. Yeah, it's Google Kempo Joe. They're not shady people, Flax. They're good people.
I mean, Chad doesn't really align himself with shady people. He aligns himself with some of the best people.
They're just not people, you know, we do what we want to win. It's the wrestling business. I consider it a business. I treat it as a business. I get treated as an asshole because I treat it as a business.
Mm-hmm.
We don't get paid by the hour in wrestling. I get paid for merchandise and for showing up.
Exactly.
And hot sauce, of course.
And hot sauce. I'm not the biggest hot sauce fan, but I gotta try some of this hot sauce, man. You know?
Oh yeah, everyone has to try it at least once. It's the only hot sauce you can taste twice.
Even though I'm not, like I said, I can't handle spicy. That's just
You'll cry.
I'll probably cry. Yeah, I will cry though, and you'll probably film it and then post
yes, and I will laugh the whole time.
I want to hear the history of Chad Epic.
Well, Joe, what do you want to hear first?
Do you want to hear how I got started in the wrestling business?
Well, actually, that story, send some hot sauce, definitely. It'd be funny to see him eat it live on camera, I'll tell you that much. Joe does enjoy the hot sauce very much. He's one of the few who's like, it's okay. But my boy Rob Marsh, 2010,
I've heard,
showed up at my house when I was living in New Hampshire, knocks on the door, is like, hey, we're going to a show. I need someone to talk for me. And he dragged me along.
Mm-hmm.
I was already working with a group called WAW for 2 years prior to this. They showed basics. They showed, the basics, how to throw strikes, how to bump. If you wanted to learn more, you would go out, find a more experienced teacher. No matter what anyone says about that place, that's where I started. And I'll never forget the people who gave me the opportunity first. Mm-hmm. You never can. But, one show turned into 2, turned into 3, turned into 5, turned into once a month to every weekend. I did a few shows in 2010. 2011 rolled around. By 2012, pretty much twice a month, 3 times a month now. I'm on the road. By 2013, it's 3-4 times a weekend I'm getting out there.
Yeah.
The more people that saw that me and my boys knew what we were doing, the more they wanted us on their shows.
Mm-hmm.
And back in 2014, 2015, we started the whole APMO and the Chat Epic initiative, the My People, they always putting a myself over group. And that's been going strong. I've sold shirts, these shirts actually, that you can find at Pro Wrestling Tees/Chat Epic, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Mad Dog 354. I've tried it. It's not that good. Those are sauces that just have heat for the sake of heat. You want flavor. Mine is a honey barbecue hot sauce. But no, as I was saying, I've sold merchandise on 5 of the 7 continents. Right now, I'm trying to get Africa and Antarctica.
Yeah, so I got to try this hot sauce, even though, like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of hot sauce. I will probably cry, like Chad said, right?
Next time I'm doing a show in your area, I'll hit you up. You can come to the show and we do a small live thing for TikTok or something.
And then I'll cry, and then you'll film it, and then just laugh at me.
And everyone will laugh.
Everyone will laugh at me. So there you go. See if I want to get views. That's one way to go.
Pretty much. You have to make a fool of yourself.
Exactly. So do people in the chat want to see Geek drink the hot sauce, or have some of the hot sauce?
Do the challenge.
Do the challenge. Do the Geek challenge. It's actually the Chad Epic challenge, but
eat the hot sauce while you're just getting made fun of.
Yeah, and then
put peppers in chat if so, peeps.
Yeah, put peppers in chat if you want to see Geek have the hot sauce. There you go.
Just don't give any to small children, or people. I mean, you can give it to people you don't like, or give it to your boss.
All right, now here's a question: will Geek go to the hospital if I have the hot sauce?
I mean, unless you're a bitch, no.
We're getting some peppers in the chat, so there you go.
I mean,
So,
right now I'm actually working on it tonight. I have it baking in the oven. It is a new dry rub that I'm making.
yeah.
It's going to have hot peppers, garlic, oregano, an Italian spicy blend, calling it, Chad Epic's The Rub. Because anyone who hangs out with Chad Epic gets the rub, as long as you're willing to pay.
My girlfriend's family loves hot sauce, so you give them the spiciest hot sauce, they don't care. They have like silver tongues. They'll take it. So.
Oh yeah, no. Everyone who's tried it says it's good flavor and it kicks their ass and they cry. So that's always fun. I got to make it. I got to wear like a respirator when I make it, and I'm going to make it out in my garage. It'll clean out the whole house if I make it while people are in here.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Separate burner, separate blender, separate pan that I use to cook the peppers in.
Yeah. So before we went live, you asked me to ask you about AEW. So what's going on?
Well, everyone has been asking about that story back and forth. I got myself into some trouble a little while ago when AEW was in Boston. I put on a suit. I grabbed my gear bag. I walked right in through the front door. Well, the back door. And, I got some heat for it from a few people who still bring it up and still, run their mouths about it. Talked to a few people that I know who work there. There's no long-lasting heat from them. It's just people who can't seem to get over it. It wasn't the smartest move on my part, and I know that. All right, I had my own goal in mind. I did what I needed to do, and I left. Well, actually, let's be fair. I was escorted out by security. Okay. I mean, the stories that I heard is I was chased down and I ran from security, even though I can't physically run, so that was fun. That I hid from people. Even if I know I'm going to get my ass kicked, I don't hide from people. That's just how I am. I will confront the problem face on. My favorite was I accosted Tony Khan.
You accosted Tony Khan.
I accosted Tony Khan. I got in his face. I broke into his office. My retort to that is if that actually happened, if I got a face-to-face with Tony Khan, I could have gotten a job and would have had a job. I would have sold myself as fast as I could have.
You would have been on AEW by now.
Oh, 100% if I got a face-to-face with him. Mm-hmm. I have that much confidence in what I can do.
I mean, you're a great talker, Chad. I've seen a lot of your promo work and some of the stuff you could do on the indies, man. Some of the stuff it's top notch, and you're probably one of the best people to talk to, on the indies right now.
Well, it's one of those things. A lot of people, they want to. There's no reason. Like my memory, like I said earlier, is crap. So there's no reason to freaking make up stories or anything. I say it how it is. Try my hardest not to be a hypocrite because no one likes that. I'm only human. It does happen. I will admit that. It happens to everyone. But I'll admit when I'm wrong and when I screw up. If there's someone there who watches my stuff, I want them to tell me what I screwed up on. I want to know how to get better. You're not going to offend me by telling me I did something wrong. Mm-hmm. I only can get better by knowing what I did wrong so I don't do it again. Yeah. And I can go to anyone who's been doing this for just starting a while. Get thick skin. If you can't handle being told that you suck or you need to improve something, then probably shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah, this is what I like. I like it when people tell me you need to work on this or you need to work on this, and that's something I really enjoy because that's the only way how it's going to help me become a better podcaster. You know that?
I mean, it's disheartening at times, but it's how you get better so it doesn't happen again.
But then again, if someone just says you suck, that's it.
Then that's how does that help anybody?
That's not helping me. Yeah. That's just saying, okay, whatever.
That's just people trying to, be funny or trying to be edgy online.
Yeah, but
if you're genuinely trying to help someone, tell them what they did wrong and give them advice on how to
get better,
improve it or change it.
Yeah, like you told me, like when I showed you the old original logo, you told me like that logo was horrible.
Yeah,
you sold me straight up, and then I sent you the new one. You say much better.
The one you have now is great. The
Yeah,
ones it was like a clip art logo you sent me, I think.
yeah.
I said you needed something like this was the perfect logo. I mean, you're Metal Geek. That's the
Yeah,
perfect thing for it.
yeah, exactly. So that's something I enjoy, because if you go say, "Oh, the logo looks good," that's not helping me out
Yeah.
at all. That's not.
You
It's
can't.
not good.
I've seen it too many times. Someone comes out from the curtain. Yeah, great match. It was not a good match.
Mhm.
You have to tell people that what they can improve on.
Yeah.
What Rebel is asking, can we hear a list of clients that I've managed over the years? Boy. All right, let's see. Trying to think. The heavy hitters for a small time in New World Wrestling Extreme. The main man, Mr. 305, Marquise Wright. The Firebirds, Marvelous Michael McManus, Relentless Richard Ripley. They were multiple-time tag champions in multiple different promotions. My Deacon of Destruction, Kevin Giles. Crispin Coles, Delilah Hayden, Derek Conway, currently Youssef. Of course, the Middlesex Express.
Mhm.
Multiple time tag team champions all across New England, everywhere we went. And singles championships for both of them everywhere. Let's see. I did do a stint with a guy by the name of Plague, PT Jester. He was part of the Sideshow. Trying to think who else. I'm missing somebody, and they're going to get angry. A guy by the name of Bon Voyage. It was him versus 4 other dudes. He's like 5 something. He was in a match with like 4 or 5 other guys who were well over 6'5".
Yeah.
And he had me, so we won the match, of course.
Is there anyone from Creative Pro that you're eyeballing that you could say, man, I'd love to bring him as a client?
Not so much as a client. I will give all the credit in the world to a guy by the name of Leo Sparrow.
Leo Sparrow's amazing, by the way.
Leo Sparrow, it's not even that he's that good in the ring. He's very articulate, and he is one of the most respectful people and most organized people I've ever got to work with. A lot of those kids are, actually. If it's right, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Pat Buck is still the guy
Yes,
down there.
He's correct. You're correct.
His kids are great. They're respectful, and they just work. There's no complaining out of them. They just do what needs to be done. I love Leo Sparrow's gimmick. He's easy to work with. There is a guy coming out of New York, legit Perfect Perkins.
Perfect.
I tell everyone to keep an eye out for him. He is 6'6", 6'5", 0% body fat. He looks like a friggin' black Hercules. He is someone that needs to stay on everybody's radar.
Perfect Perkins. Okay, I'll keep
legit
that in
Perfect Perkins. The dude is amazing. I believe he's coming out of the T2T school.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if I got that wrong. Don't kill me, Logan Black. I'm sorry. He's the guy who runs that school.
Yeah, a lot of New England guys are starting to do Creative Pro. I've noticed. I don't know if you start to notice that.
Yeah, it's wrestling. No matter how much it advances, how much it is who you know business. Like, it's very rare if you don't know anybody that you get places. It's who you know, who you associate with. All right, people got Jaws because they drove someone to the airport one time.
Yeah.
All right, look at how many people from Pat Buck's school, when he's a producer backstage and doing a little bit more, are on AEW television. Guys like MJF, Bear Country, those are all Creative Pro guys.
Caster.
Matt Caster.
Yeah, there's another one. Yeah. But you're absolutely right. Half those guys are front and center. MJF is the AEW champion right now, and that's just amazing right there. It's basically like Creative Pro took over AEW in some sort of way.
Pat Buck is one of the main guys backstage.
Exactly.
The Young Bucks work with a lot of those guys, and obviously there's a proven track record, so he uses them. Mm-hmm. And they signed him.
But But yeah, and another really good guy out of Creative Pro. I don't know if he does Creative Pro, but he does the indies in general. Is Slade. I don't know if you're
Slade
familiar
is
with
out of Creative Pro. That is one name I forgot. I have managed Slade.
Slade. You have? Yeah.
I have a few different times down in Rhode Island for a place called Wrestle Party.
Yeah.
That place, there was wrestling pizza delivery men. There were black cats. There were Euro space trash aliens from Europe that just screamed.
Yeah.
There was a Cyclops in that promotion. What was it? What was the match? A choose your own adventure match where the fans would decide what happens. It was fantastic.
Really?
But me and Slade's position in that promotion were we didn't take that kind of crap. We were there for a fight.
Yeah, Slade's a scary guy. I don't know. I sat like front row to watch Slade. To see him, he's a scary dude.
Slade just wants, he's like I said earlier, we don't get paid by the hour. Slade is there to do his business, get paid, drink a beer, hurt somebody, and leave.
Exactly.
And honestly, I can't blame him for that. That's a great mentality to have.
I love the gimmick, by the way. You know,
that's just him.
Yeah.
That's Slade.
Yeah.
He does his job. He does what he needs. He gets paid. He drinks a beer and he goes home.
And then people chant Slade's going to kill you, and that's it.
Because if you piss him off, he just might.
Yeah. So,
I mean, these guys, like, Slade is the epitome of pretty much just bringing who you are into professional wrestling.
Have you worked with Vargas or no?
Who is it?
Vargas?
Vargas?
Yeah.
I'm not sure who that is, actually.
But Vargas is the Dominican Destroyer.
The Dominican? I'll have to look him up.
Yeah. He's managed right now by Ariel Nix.
I'm not sure who either of those are.
No.
Nothing against them. I just don't know who they are or what promotions they're coming out of.
New Jersey, a lot of New Jersey. So
okay.
But Vargas does Creative Pro too. So he's the champion.
Yeah, I'm not familiar. Nothing against them, obviously. It's just two people I'm not familiar with.
You also worked with Brian Milanis, right?
I worked with Brian Milanis. Yep. He's obviously a New England guy. The Kingpin, main event money, Madison Square Garden money. The dude right now is on top of the world. He's destroying everyone in his path.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's someone I think everyone should have been looking out for years. I don't know how he snuck under the radar for so many years, but he is somebody that is a someone, and people for some odd reason still sleep on him. And I think in the next year, that is going to change a lot because Brian Milonis is ripping apart not only New England, but this side of the Mississippi and beyond. Anyone who steps to him gets dropped.
Yeah, I remember Brian from being in the Bounces in Ring of Honor. He was great even then, you know?
Yeah.
Him and Beer City Bruiser were awesome. And
now think about this. How good could Brian Milonis move back then?
Amazing.
He has slimmed down dramatically. If you see him now, he's moving like he did in his first 5 years.
Really?
I was at a show, WFA, out of New Hampshire, run by a school run by Mike Hollow. If you're in the New England area and you want to you're talking about knowing people, that's the school to look up. Scott Reed, Mike Hollow. Look both of those guys up. They have 3 rings in their facility. They have promo classes with Sonny Goodspeed. They have Scott Reed is a nutritionist. He will tell you what to work on, how to get big, how to, cut your diet down, what supplements to take. And Mike Hollow he's helped train guys like Triple H, like Kofi Kingston. He worked right along Killer Kowalski.
That's amazing.
The Elite Pro Wrestling Academy.
Killer Kowalski trained some of the best in the business.
Killer Kowalski, as I have said before, is what you would call the grandfather of New England pro wrestling.
Exactly.
Every single person I know in the New England area can trace either their trainer or trained by or an association with Killer Kowalski. I never had the privilege of working with him. When I was younger, I got to go to all his shows that he ran, and they were always amazing. He knew how to put on a good show. He knows what was what in professional wrestling. He's passed on his lineage to guys like Bo Douglas of the Bell Time Club, Slick Wagner Brown, who has his own school down down in Connecticut.
I remember Slick back in the Ring of Honor days, New York Wrestling Connection as well. So
Slick Wagner Brown is still going as good as anybody.
wow.
And now he's passing on his knowledge to a new crop of kids.
Yeah. So
Test of Strength Wrestling is the place you want to check out for Slick Wagner Brown. UFO Wrestling for Bo Douglas and the Bell Time Training Center. Dante Luna usually has a really big connection. We've done a few shows together where we got to wrestle in Fenway Park.
that's amazing.
I sold a bottle of hot sauce to the chief of police of Boston and made him cry. I was afraid I was going to get arrested that night.
I have to hear the story now. Now I have to hear the story.
That's the story.
That's the story.
He was at the Fenway show. I hawk merchandise. I'm the capitalistic carny. That is what I do. The monarch of merchandise. I'm good at it. Always have been. I will sell you the worst car on the lot for the most amount of money while you walk away and think you screwed me over.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I have no problem admitting that. I am carny as carny can be. I'm a snake oil salesman. That's what a professional wrestling manager is and always will be. These managers who I want to do flips and I'm going to do all this and make sure that I'm the star of the show. All right. Same thing when you have referees who think they're the star of the show and want to put the spotlight on them. Like that's insane to me.
So what is your opinion on Cody and Roman? Because a lot of people are pissed off that Cody did not walk away with the belt.
If Cody walked away with the belt, people were going to complain. He didn't win. He's complaining. All I know is I would have kept that rubber chicken and sold it.
Uh-huh.
That rubber chicken stole Mania weekend.
Basically.
Besides the Charlotte and Ripley match, which was one of the best wrestling matches, not female matches, not Mania, just wrestling matches I have probably witnessed. It was perfect from start to finish. But
definitely.
Cody, who said we're done with this story?
Exactly.
Let's look back at the NWA and his father versus Ric Flair. He fought him 3 times. The first 2 times he lost, and then he finally beat him in the cage. And it was over, a year build? Roman said something nice at the press conference, like, we're not McDonald's, we're not serving fast food, we're serving flaming Leo. So people, they want results like that. People are still interested in the story. I want to see where Cody goes next with Brock. I want to see where Roman goes next.
To be honest, I want to see Roman and Walter.
Yes. Walter is someone I have admired for many, many years.
I think you mentioned this. You mentioned this before.
I absolutely am infatuated with Walter. Gunther now. I've never seen him in a bad match.
No.
He walks into a room and he commands, without saying a word, without bringing attention to himself, he commands attention. He has the infamous it factor that, wrestlers always seek. He is a basic meat and potatoes, but man, does he command attention. Everyone pays attention to him when he's in that ring, when he's in a room. He speaks, you shut up and listen.
Exactly.
And he's brought prestige back to that Intercontinental title. He's held it longer than anyone has in the last, 10, 15 years?
And he hasn't had a bad match either.
Yeah, no, I don't think he's capable. Like, people, show me a good Walter match. I'm like, all right, I pull up UK, WWE, NXT UK, Walter versus Dragunov. Have you seen that one?
I love that one.
That one, the first one was amazing.
I'm going to say this now. He's done that match with nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody in the audience.
Yeah.
How do you do that? How do you have a match? Because I know how the wrestlers always admire the inspiration from the crowd and the adrenaline and everything. He put on a 5-star match in front of nobody.
Yep. Well, here's the thing. He's an independent wrestler. He's not a WWE Performance Center wrestler. Independent wrestlers We have worked in front of 5 people, 20 people. I've done shows in front of 1,200 people. I've done shows in front of 12 people.
Still a reaction.
Still reaction. I still act the same way. If you go back to the COVID Thunderdome era, you can see who was from the Performance Center and who was an independent wrestler, who could work with no crowd and who couldn't. You learn certain things I don't think the Performance Center will be able to teach you. On the road, like the best times you'll have in the car going to and coming home from shows with your boys.
Yeah.
That is the best part of professional wrestling. Besides, you know what? I was at a show a few weeks ago. I got to steal a kid's cookie. That was pretty great too.
Oh, I gotta hear this. You just what happened? They just walked out.
It was a place, New World Wrestling Extreme, one of their big shows. I'll be back there next month. The kid kept getting in my face, throwing water at me, and I walk up to him and I just look him in the face. I'm like, "Oh yeah, kid." Reach down, steal his cookie, and walk away. And I'm like, "I'm gonna steal your cookie." Shove the whole thing in my mouth. His dad was laughing. The kid's like, "What?" Huh? That's what happens. You backtalked me. I stole his cookie.
And it's like, I remember back in the podcast, I think a year or two ago, you told me parents pay for this stuff.
Oh yeah,
they pay for this stuff. So I remember
this recent show. There was a special needs kid in the audience. I was getting in his face, and we were going back and forth. He put up a fist, and I hit the ground. I bumped on the ground. I don't bump very often. All right. The kid was talking about it the whole night, and his parents spent a crap load of money at the merchandise table that night and said that was one of the best experiences he's ever had at a wrestling show. And that's what we're supposed to be doing, right? Good guy, bad guy. We make moments. You make things that people will remember.
The heel's supposed to get what they deserve, and that's what's supposed to happen.
Sometimes it takes a bit for them to catch me.
Exactly. Exactly.
But it's that much satisfying when they try or when they do. That's what people want.
Yeah, exactly. Because you're supposed to be so hated that you want the good guy to win, and that means that you're doing your job.
I mean, I've been at shows where people have pulled knives on me, so I know I'm doing my job right.
You had to call
pulled a Bowie knife on me one time. I've had people switchblades or pocket knives on me, throw beer bottles at me. So I'm doing something right.
Maybe that's a little extreme, but you know.
Hey, they apologize and they buy merchandise.
At least
one dude who threw something at me, dropped his wallet. I told him I'll give it back for $10.
So you're getting the Cardona treatment, the whole bottles, the trash, and everything.
I mean, not as bad as that, but I mean, GCW fans are rabid.
Yeah.
That is their home, and he kind of desecrated their temple.
Their temple and their, you know.
Yeah.
Their champion, Nick Gage, right there.
Yeah. They came in and desecrated their temple, and they besmirched their god.
Yeah, exactly.
And they were not happy about it.
Brock versus Gunther, glad to meet him at Evolve, and joy to watch him live in WWE as well.
Oh yeah, him versus Gunther versus Brock, it would be an amazing main event to any pay-per-view.
Definitely, that's another one right there.
And if you think about it, I don't think Brock's ever been Intercontinental Champion.
No, he hasn't.
And
if you see this, whose idea was that? WWE.
Gave me my money, bitch.
Maybe.
I mean, that's what, at the end of the day, like I said at the beginning, pro wrestling is a business.
He said you can get stabbed.
Yeah, I didn't get stabbed. I haven't been stabbed at a wrestling show yet. I say yet because, I'm
knock on wood.
Looking at a few different countries I'll be going to within the next year. Mm-hmm. So they're not going to like me. And I'm going to enjoy every second of it.
I don't like you.
Yes.
There you go.
I bring in views.
You're bringing views. There you go. And you make people into stars. There you go.
I tell people this all the time. There are people in professional wrestling who you can call a weekend warrior who only want to do it once a month at a hometown or two promotion. Why give them crap? There's people who just want to do it once a week. Why give them crap? There's people who want to make a living out of this. Why give them crap? You're all working the same place. You're all doing the same goal. I say this to people. They're like, oh, you're in competition. I'm in competition with nobody. I agree with that. I've been stabbed. It is not a good moment.
No.
It wasn't fun. It wasn't like the movies. It hurts like hell. But you're in competition with nobody but yourself. Worry about what you did and how you can do it better next time. That's what I tell everyone. That's what you should be. I mean, it took me a few years to get that kind of mentality. I mean, professional wrestling, it's the wrestling business. A lot of people think you're an asshole for treating it as a business. But, they'll still pay you. They'll still buy merchandise. They'll still, I go to someone else's ice cream shop. They're their promoter. Whatever flavor they want to serve, they pay me to serve that flavor to people.
So you have the Chad Epic hot sauce. Will
Yep.
there ever be a Chad ice cream?
Probably not.
No. So
no,
okay.
I couldn't sell that at shows.
No.
Like I said, I got the Chad Epic rub coming out. Chad Epic hot sauce. Trying to think of, if you ever come by my merchandise table, you'll see I have a variety and a plethora of eclectic things there.
Yeah. Do you have anything that's not spicy?
No.
No, not yet. All right.
If there's one thing professional wrestling's last great manager knows, it's how to bring the heat.
Okay. So,
with Chad Epic's Holy Water.
Gotcha.
If you go on my TikTok, you'll see a little promo like that, and I guarantee you will laugh.
Joe says you got to get the rub.
I'll send it next time I see you. Next New World show. I think we're in, where are we? Let me find my phone. New World Wrestling Extreme. See, I was smart this time. I kept my phone out so I can actually give you correct dates.
Yeah.
Because, who writes anything down these days, right?
I don't write anything down. Well, I do now.
Man, all pages are these days are just friggin'
That's a good
makers
thing.
And podcast and buy this and phony stuff on Facebook. Never understand it.
Nah. Man, it's good being booked, Chad.
Hey, it's
money right there for you. There you go. So
I think I've had one weekend off this year, and that was by choice.
Yeah.
And that's the way. Professional wrestling will give you as much as you want to put in. It owes you absolutely nothing.
Would you want to put on another show, or you don't know yet?
I actually will be putting on another show. I have a few shows in the works. Charity events coming up. As everyone knows, and I always talk about on social media. I am a huge advocate for shelter animals. I hear the dog in the background.
Yeah, that's the dog right there upstairs.
I'm a huge advocate for shelter animals.
Yeah.
Adopt, don't shop, always. Get a senior animal because give them, it might be just a few years for you, but that would be the best few years of their life when they're in someone else's home. I will be putting on an event for a shelter that I'm currently working with. I'll release those details when they do come available. I will be running, actually, I've been in talks with a place back in my hometown, Gloucester, Mass. And yes, Rebello, I am going to be coming to Central Mass, probably the Hudson area.
She says sorry for the dog.
Oh, no, that's fine. I love dogs. I'd rather talk to the dog than you.
It was actually the perfect cue right there.
Yeah, right. It was.
We're talking about shelters, and there you go.
And then he starts barking. So that was perfect.
Yeah. So
there we go. All right.
She wants to know if you have any pets.
I do. Actually, I have a hell of a lot of pets. I got about 18 chickens. I have a king snake, a Russian sulcata tortoise. I have 8 cats, 2 dogs. Looking into getting llamas, possibly.
Llamas.
Small farm out where I live now.
Yeah. You working with?
I know there was a show out in Hudson with Enzo. They're not doing very good advertising. If I literally live out this way. And I had no idea. See, that's what I'm talking about. You know, the horrible thing happens when you don't promote.
There's so many
Nothing
indie.
happens.
Speaking of actually Leo Sparrow, he's actually wrestling tomorrow night at VPW against Jack Tomlinson.
Nice. That's going to be a great match.
Yeah, that you know Jack Tomlinson, right?
I believe so.
Right? He's another Creative Pro guy.
Then probably.
Yeah, so.
Now, Leo Sparrow, I give him all the credit in the world. Like, there's a few people from the Northeast that I fully believe will go to the next step. Guys like Mike Styros, Leo Sparrows, Legit Perfect Perkins. All right. A guy out of MLW right now who is taking off, Alex Kane.
I've heard of him. Yeah.
Like, it's going from just doing absolutely nothing, mind you, being hated, and then just by being himself, the fans absolutely adore him. They're behind him. They want him to succeed.
Aaron Rourke's another one name right there.
Yep.
I don't know if you're familiar with Aaron Rourke. He wrestles New England a lot too.
Yeah, I do know. Have I worked? I'm not sure if I worked with him. I mean, you got guys like Alex Kane out this way. Piper's daughter is working shows out this way.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's awesome. So,
I mean, New World is one of those great things. They always have a legendary superstar. Doing one show, Jimmy Hart just showed up during the main event.
That's awesome.
And managed Jay Lethal. That was great.
That's amazing.
It was one of those random things that he's like, oh, yeah, hey, brother, I'm just going to show up. I'm going to work with Jay tonight. And they had the Macho Man's robe from WrestleMania 2.
What?
Yeah. It was insane.
The actual robe or
the actual robe from a personal collector who's in Massachusetts. The actual robe. He had one of Jimmy Hart's coat from WrestleMania. I think it was WrestleMania 9 he had the coat from Trump Plaza. Yeah. He had that blazer. This dude's collection is insane.
That's nuts.
Some people take it. I have never been any work for you in Bridgewater. Possibly you might be seeing me out that way. There's a good chance.
Any work in New York?
Yeah, coming up. There's, like I was saying, there's as much work as I want to put into this. Wrestling gives me as much money, as much hustle as I have, and I never run out of hustle. All right, you hear all the time. You've been doing this, what, for a year and a half, 2 years?
2 years about.
And you hear all the time people saying, I sacrificed for wrestling. I gave up this. No, not a single person in wrestling sacrificed a damn thing. We make choices. We choose wrestling over everything else. As crappy as that is, we choose it over weddings. Hell, I chose it over an ex-fiance. You don't give up wrestling. Well, I didn't. Don't give me ultimatums. You choose it over birthday parties, family events, your own health. You choose. It's not a sacrifice. Those people who expect wrestling to give something back to them will never do anything. Wrestling owes nobody anything. And yet we keep going back to the abusive ex-girlfriend who keeps beating us, yet we keep coming back. She makes, it's just how it is in wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just my personal opinion on it. We make choices to be here. We're not sacrificing anything.
Exactly.
You don't have, wrestling will still be here. If I quit tomorrow, wrestling will still continue.
They'll just find somebody else. That's it.
I mean, it won't be as good looking or, has a nicest beard, but.
There won't be a great manager like you are.
No, absolutely not.
You're probably one of the best on the indies right now today.
I appreciate that. Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong, and I appreciate it. What I was saying, New World Wrestling Extreme, their next event, April 29th. I think that's the one Joe Rebello was talking about. Spring Slam featuring the SATs, your friends.
Yep. Those guys.
Maybe you can. Awesome. I mean, New York is about a 3-hour drive. This is a 3-hour drive from where you're at. You should come on down.
Yeah.
Buy tickets. Tell them I sent you.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, no, that's going to be April 29th.
Any hookups here?
Huh? There's no hookups.
Oh.
Good brothers don't ask for a good brother price. Remember that.
Gotcha.
Good brothers, because we're all trying to make a buck here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not my promotion to give out tickets either. So, and I never ask for comps. But I mean, there's plenty of places. Saturday, tomorrow, for the Proving Ground, I'll be in the Beverly Salem Elks, slinging merchandise. I'm actually on the hunt in the Proving Ground for my new client. Got to find someone new, someone different there.
I wasn't asking for hookups. I was just saying that. Tell them Chad sent you.
Yeah. Oh no. I get hooked up if you come because of me. You don't get no hookups.
Oh, come on, man.
That's not how that works. This July, actually, you can catch me at New England Fan Fest. Saturday, July 29th. We'll be doing the Pro Wrestling New England Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. People that absolutely deserve it. Guys like James Allen, Trooper Gilmore is finally going in. DC Dillinger, who should have been in years ago, is finally getting his rightful spot in the New England Hall of Fame. Of course, that's going to be hosted by Rich Palladino. And you know who that is, obviously. The ring announcer, Rich Palladino. Limitless Wrestling. He's now working for ICW.
I'm not too familiar with the New England area. I'm more familiar with the Long Island area. So
shame on you. You got to expand your bubble, like I said.
I got to expand that bubble.
You got to expand the bubble.
I'm still learning. I'm still learning.
Hey, that's the only way you're gonna learn is by going different places.
Yeah.
See different talents. See different varieties. Wrestling has a million different varieties.
Yeah.
All right. Line up salsa on the table. You got chunky, spicy, mild, restaurant style. You got bold. You got flavorful, but different flavors. But at the end of the day, it's all salsa.
Yeah.
And you just pick which style you like. You don't like deathmatch wrestling? Don't go to a deathmatch show. You like lucha libre? Then go to a lucha libre show.
I like pure wrestling. That's something.
You like pure wrestling? Then go to a pure wrestling show. All right, my rated R wrestling that I'm looking at venues for this year, we do a mixed bag of everything. Lucha, comedy, straight up brawling, of course, always a death match.
I wouldn't mind. I mean, wouldn't mind watching a death match. I mean, as long as it's a mixed crowd,
it's always a mixed bag. You can't just put on one style of match the whole night.
No.
There's only so many times I can see someone do a super kick, a Canadian destroyer, and a dive in every match.
That's why GCW is successful, because you think they just have deathmatch wrestling the whole show? No, they have.
They got successful when they stopped doing deathmatch wrestling the whole show.
What's up?
They used to be strictly deathmatch,
but then they started expanding on, and then now they're super successful.
They cater to a bunch of different audience members now.
Yeah,
and they still have their loyal list.
Uh-huh.
The MDK gang is strong with Nick Gage still. Especially with guys like Mox running around. Chris Jericho did a death match on TNT.
Yeah.
Ever think you would hear that?
Never thought I would have it.
It was great to see Nikki on the friggin' TV, actual broadcast television.
And not only that, Domino's cut them. So
that was, I don't care what anyone says, that was perfectly timed. That was done on purpose and it was intentional. You don't run a Domino's ad as soon as you bring out a pizza cutter and say, oh, I didn't mean to. Someone needs to own up to that because that was funny as hell.
That was
I died. It was like Austin Theory, I forget what pay-per-view it was, coming out with his entrance theme somehow turned into Beyblades.
Oh, jeez.
I think it was at the Rumble. He had this big match and his Tron and his music were Beyblades.
Back Powerhouse Wrestling on April 26th, Lodge with Enzo and Real One.
Huh. I'll have to check it out. I'll look into it.
Wrestling is a big bubble.
It's huge. It's. I tell people, no matter what, if you're stuck in a certain area like New England, and a lot of people are trying to improve it, but there's only Survivor Series. There we go.
Yeah.
It was Survivor Series. He came out to Beyblades. I'll never not laugh at that. That was amazing. And I get it, sponsorships and everything, but imagine how pissed you would be if you're coming down to the ring, your music gets cut for a commercial, and then your Tron turns into Beyblades.
What's your opinion on Seth Rollins' segment getting cut after he came down to the ring?
Who said it got cut?
He came. He was already in the ring already.
You're right. Who said it wasn't the whole segment?
Because he looked pissed from the videos.
But who says that if it happened on live TV, it was supposed to happen?
Yeah, but he was already out in the ring already, and then they cut it during the commercial.
The dirt sheets really don't know what they're talking about a lot of the time. It's
You know
the
the
National Enquirer for wrestling.
Do you know the story, the true story behind that, or
Of the Seth Rollins thing?
yeah?
No one does, except for Seth Rollins and the guy running production and the guy writing the show. People look at it this way. For months, people were saying Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard were running NXT, and they're destroying it when they switched over to NXT 2.0. Remember that? Even all the dirt sheets. Well, Vince McMahon is ruining NXT, and he's destroying Triple H's vision. And then about 8 months into it, it comes out, it was Shawn Michaels the whole time. Bruce and Vince had nothing to do with it. But because the dirt sheet said they did, it had to be true.
Yeah.
It was Shawn changing things, trying to make it, evolve. It was a slow start, but it happened. Right now, Carmelo Hayes, a guy from New England, mind you, NXT champion.
That's awesome.
Casanova. The dude was, if you saw him years ago, I know Joe has, you knew he was going to be a star. Think about this. Ivar is a New England guy. Uh-huh. I remember being a little kid and running into him at a show. He was running by the name Handsome Johnny at the time.
Yeah.
And that's how I'll always remember him, like as Handsome Johnny. But now he's killing it on the independent scenes. And it's great to see guys from our area. I like seeing people I work with and have worked with and have conversation with actually make it something and make money in doing something they love.
Kind of like MJF, because that's a perfect example. He's from Long Island right there, where I'm from, and he's killing it. And
yeah. You guys also have, Mick Foley from Long Island, so I would take that one over anybody. Ciampa, Tommaso Ciampa, Kofi Kingston, Triple H, China, all New England people.
Long Island's killing it right now in that scene right now.
Yeah, I honestly, since wrestling came back after COVID, every place is pretty much killing it.
Mm-hmm.
People want to be out. They want to see people. They want to see shows. They want to be entertained. They want to forget about the shitty world for a little while, their shitty job, their house, their bills, whatever problems they have. They want to shut their brain off, and they want to see a supervillain, such as myself, get punched in the mouth by the superhero.
That's the goal.
That's what we're there. You're not putting meats in the seats. All right? The meat goes in the seats. That's how we make money. I can't sell anything if there's no one at the show.
It's not like you're guaranteed a contract. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a lot of these guys. But these guys all came from nothing. And
exactly.
Somebody noticed them, said, hey, we're going to put this
That's why
guy.
You always conduct yourself as a professional on shows.
Because you never know who's watching.
Doing a show, look in the back. Oh, look, Gabe Sapolsky's in the back for some reason. Okay. Go up, shake his hand. How are you, sir? That was the guy who ran Evolve. Now a recruiter for WWE. He was obviously there scouting for someone. And I hope that went well for them. But you never know who you're going to run into. I always have my business cards on me, no matter where I go. It attaches to a QR code that goes straight to my link tree. You can send me money. You can buy my merchandise. You can see all my, previous stuff on YouTube. Always be prepared. Always have something as a backup. Always put yourself over. No one else is going to do it for you.
Exactly.
You're not going to get this show out if you don't put it over. You can't rely on people like me or your guests to do it. You got to put the work in too.
Exactly.
If you're passionate about it, someone else is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Really on that note, like I said, you can go to Pro Wrestling T/Chad Epic and buy all your Chad Epic t-shirts. Hit me up on the Face Space, the MyBook, the Tweeters, the Twatters, and tell me what you want, especially if you're from Africa or Antarctica. I want you to buy merchandise for me. I need those two continents. Like that's the two continents I need to check off on my list. Africa, Antarctica.
WrestlePro's over there.
No one's in Antarctica. WrestlePro's in Antarctica. They're in Alaska.
Alaska. That's it. That's
the United States, not Antarctica.
Yeah.
literally on different sides, like axes of the world, man.
The Twitters, huh?
The tweeters, yeah, you know. See, that's New York education for you right there.
The tweeters.
No wonder MJF left.
He left us all, but he came back a champion.
No, I mean, yeah, he's a champion for now.
Yeah.
I mean, they need to build homegrown stars, and that's a hell of a guy to do it off of. He knows how to talk and he can work, and I think people actually want to shoot him. So
he knows how to work. There you go.
He doesn't even have to. He can just open his mouth and people want to stab him. It's great.
Yeah.
They just need to think of something. It's the same story with him every time. Fight these 5 guys, then you can fight me.
Sounds like the same, exactly.
It's the same story every time. Same thing for Darby. It's get beat up by the big guy, have a casket match. I beat you in the casket match.
But MJF put on an amazing match with Bryan Danielson at the last.
He was in there with Bryan Danielson. Can you name a bad Bryan Danielson match?
Not really.
Yeah, I think it's literally impossible. I mean, Kenny Omega doesn't do bad matches either. It's not my favorite, but I mean, he wrestled a blow-up doll and a 9-year-old girl, and they were amazing matches.
There were five, and that girl was, I heard, well trained. By the way,
of course she was. It's Japan. They take this seriously. They treat their wrestlers like celebrities over there.
Exactly. Look at Okada, for example. Okada's like, and Tanahashi. He's a big movie star.
I like both of them over there. I've told this to people who absolutely love New Japan. When Okada came out of AEW, there was no reaction. New Japan is a huge promotion in Japan, but it is not yet a worldwide phenomenon. Mm-hmm. If you ask the average wrestling fan, they're not going to know who Ishii is. They're not going to know who Murder Grandpa is. And it's unfortunate, but that's just, they stayed in their bubble for a very long time.
But didn't they say holy shit when he came out?
A small percentage. It wasn't like when Punk came out or when Jericho first came out. Like, those are superstars. Those are bigger than superstars.
Yeah.
You show a picture of Hulk Hogan to anybody, wrestling fan or not, they'll know who he is. That's how you're a megastar. Who in AEW right now, if I was to hold up a picture to a non-wrestling fan, would be able to say, I know who that is? What talent outside of Sting and the guys who made a name elsewhere?
Like talking Hulk Hogan or
No. In AEW right now on their current roster, if I was to hold up a picture of somebody from their current roster, a non-wrestling fan, do you think they'd be able to name who it was?
Unless you're from Japan, you know Kenny Omega is.
Well, that would be a wrestling fan.
Yeah. Well,
that's what I'm saying.
But I'm saying, like you said, in Japan, he was a mega star in Japan.
Yes, in Japan.
Not in America.
I would love to see him on the WWE stage.
Yeah.
Because that's where he's going to make millions, and that's where the whole world's going to know his name.
Yeah.
And I enjoy AEW. I watch it every week, every show. They're barely 10 years. You know what? They're barely 5 years old now. They're a new company. There's growing pains.
Who's your favorite New Japan wrestler?
Mine?
Yeah.
Murder Grandpa.
Suzuki, yeah.
Absolutely love everything he does.
Suzuki's amazing.
He looks like him versus Joe. I was giddy for. I am not ashamed to say that I marked out watching that.
Him versus Danielson was amazing.
Oh my god! Like, I want to see him in the United States more.
He can still go.
Yeah,
he gets for 52. What is he? 52, 53,
mm-hmm.
And he could still go in the ring. That's absolutely insane.
It's incredible. I mean, one of my all-time favorites from Japan is the Ultimo Dragon.
Ultimo Dragon, yeah.
Asai, like the Asai Moonsault, he invented that.
Yeah.
Like, the dude was one of the best light heavyweight cruiserweights in the world at one time. I mean, one of my all-time favorites will always be Bruiser Brody. It's a shame that he got cut short the way he did. Because I think he would have main evented WrestleManias for years.
a lot of great wrestlers that got cut short.
It's unfortunate. I have unfortunately, a lot of people that I would consider friends, colleagues, mentors in the last 3 years alone that have passed away. Like this decade has been, it's been rough.
Yeah. Owen Hart was another one that, man, it's got cut too short. Imagine the matches he would have had if he was still alive.
I mean, him versus Eddie, him versus AJ, like
Edge.
Like he had matches with Edge, didn't he?
I'm not sure if he had matches with Edge. I think Edge was just about to come out.
No, Edge premiered in like 98, 97 with the Brood.
Yeah, he died in 96, didn't he? Or,
no, he died in 99.
99.
Yeah, over the Edge.
Yeah.
So that would be after.
Yeah. So Kurt Angle will be another one.
Kurt Angle versus Owen would have been incredible.
AJ would have been amazing too.
AJ, my opinion, people have attacked me for it, the greatest wrestler on the planet right now.
Bryan Danielson.
AJ Styles.
No, I'm saying Bryan Danielson and Owen Hart.
Oh, no, that would have been amazing too. But I'm saying, in my opinion, AJ Styles is the top wrestler on the planet right now. The dude knows he knows in-ring work. He can talk. He can work. He can get the crowd behind him, good or bad.
And he knows how to tell a story. And
exactly.
That's how good he is. To be honest, I was telling a couple of colleagues, I want to see AJ and Roman again, but this time now.
I mean, what is it? SmackDown started a few minutes ago. Shinsuke's coming back tonight.
Yeah.
And I want to see what they do with him.
Yeah. So. But yeah, AJ and Roman, that's a match that needs to happen like somewhere.
I mean, I saw something. Roman hasn't been pinned since like May of 2019.
Yeah.
Which is unheard of. Like it's unheard of these days. And I love it because it's something different.
Yeah.
He's beating everyone they put in front of him. I don't care how he's beating them, but he's beating them. And people get angry, and then there's the people who like it. Like, professional wrestling is subjective.
I know was another one.
That one hit hard.
That one's hard.
I was on a training exercise back in 2005. We were driving the van to go to our FTX thing, and they announced Eddie Guerrero's passing.
Yeah, that was a shock right there.
That one, and driving home from New Orleans after Monday Night Raw with the Ultimate Warrior in the ring. Go back and listen to that promo and look at his face. I swear to God, he knew he was going because it sounded like a goodbye.
I thought so too. I just didn't want to say nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like
it's like the words he was using in that promo was when he said one man beat his final beat. Hart beat his final beat.
It sounds like he was finally content with himself, and he got whatever demons he had gone, and he said goodbye to the people that helped make him.
That's what it sounded like to me, you know? And it was scary 24 hours later.
Not even 24 hours later, like 12. I think he passed away like around 4 or 5.
Yeah.
No, we're not going to any of your websites. Go away.
No, thank you. No, thanks.
I can promote my own stuff. You can't do a better job than me.
I think Geek could do a better job promoting his own stuff than. There you go.
Not better than me.
Not better than you, but
no.
better than this guy.
But folks, I know you said you have a dinner to get to or something. You got to go out tonight.
Yeah. So I want to say, do you have any social medias or upcoming shows you got? Or
just Google Chad Epic. I'm famous, bitch.
All right.
I make sure to keep everything universal. It's all Chad Epic or Mr. Chad Epic. Everything.
All right. Chad, man, I want to thank you so much for taking the time out, man. Again.
Oh, always, man. You know I enjoy doing these. I love hearing myself talk.
I love bullshitting with you, man. It's just so awesome, man. You know.
Well, like I said, it's end it the way you were supposed to end it. Allow me to re-educate you all watching and who will watch exactly who I am. I am the platinum-tongued pugilist, the grand baron of articulation, the capitalistic carny, the paragon of self-promotion, professional wrestling's last great manager, greatness himself, Mr. Chad Epic. Remember to buy my crap. And this has been Geeking Out with the Metal Geek.